I embedded this story in another video, but wanted to do it just separately as well. Testimony of me deciding to get my ears pierced. So 7 years, exactly 7 years after I gave my life to Jesus, out of nowhere, I desired to get my ears pierced. So growing up, my mom said, you can't get your ears pierced before you're 16. My sister went and got her ears pierced even sooner. I had no desire to get mine pierced. So I gave my life to Jesus at 17. And when I was 24, around the same time that I gave my life to him, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I desired to get my ears pierced. And I mentioned it to my mom, and she got all excited and was like, oh, good, you'll be prettier and the boys will like you. And from that response, I was like, I don't want to get them pierced then. But then a friend found a passage related to becoming a bondservant. And basically, if an Israelite sold himself into slavery, he would work for 6 years and then he would be set free. And then in the 7th year, he would decide whether or not he wanted to become a bondservant, which meant that he would be his master's servant for life. And if he decides to be a bondservant, then he would pierce his ear to the doorpost. And then he'd be a servant for life. So I figured that it's not coincidental that 7 years after I gave my life to Jesus, I had the desire to get my ears pierced. So I got my ears pierced, symbolizing becoming a bondservant to God. Also, there's a psalm, I think it might be Psalm 40, where it says, "And my ears you have pierced," which is both pointing back to the bondservant and also to just being able to hear God's voice more clearly. So with those two meanings, I decided to get my ears pierced. So also with saying that, I would say don't, like, if you feel the desire to do something, and for example, so I've been doing some videos about circumcision, and people have been challenging me like, Christians don't need to be circumcised. I need to research it more. And at the same time, some people have reached out to me and said, even though the church says I don't need to be circumcised, to me it seems like it's important, and I have this desire to be, but it's like the church is discouraging me from doing it. And I would say, if God has put that desire on your heart, then go for it. Like, if that's going to be something that's meaningful to you and representing to you that you are marrying him, becoming his, then that's a beautiful reason to do something. And so it, similar to getting my ears pierced, I'm really thankful now when I, in putting my earrings in, I just remember that I'm a bondservant to God. And so it's, if God puts that desire in your heart to do anything to represent, well, I guess not anything that is in line with who he is, to represent being his and committing to him, then whether that's piercing ears, being circumcised, being baptized, those are all beautiful ways of showing our commitment to him and our faith in him and our desire to be in covenant with him and be his people. So I would just encourage you to go for it.